Welcome to our usual hovers. I'm Meeka Nomicon, and today I'm playing through the game Bunkers, where we're tasked with guiding a young girl through dangerous post-apocalyptic bunkers filled with many terrors. Will we survive the treacherous journey? The city is a chance. It's a gem, a machine. Many people from near and far have found themselves in this place. They turned their prospects into contacts and money, chipped something off for themselves, became cogs in the machine. Unfortunately, not you. You're lucky you even managed to survive being thrown between the ruthless cogs. You even wonder if it wouldn't be better if one of your failed chances or plans had killed you. There's one thing you know. You can't stay in the city, at least not right now. You managed to get one last job though. You need to play escort for a day. You really try not to think about yourself as a babysitter and walk this kid to one place. Luckily, you know very well where this place is. It's where you come from after all. And, something wrong? Are you afraid of the dark? It's generally the things that hide in the dark. No. It's like the city has killed all of my fears. Besides, it's not the darkness that is scary, it's what hides in it. Maybe we are the scariest thing here. See, my point of view is, I'm not scared of things hiding in the dark. The only time they become scary is when we've got a flashlight and we've made ourselves illuminated. Because if we're all in the dark, they're gonna have struggling to find me as I struggle to find them. No. There are worse things and worse people. But I can still walk you through this place. Which makes you think it may not actually be that simple. You're pretty close to the bottom of the bunker food chain after all. And your gun, well, you can shoot, but you hope it won't come to that. You could use some help. A long time ago, when you were still living here underground, you had a few pals. You parted ways quite amicably, so maybe Ignatius would be useful for sure. He could have belonged to the group of the most efficient ones. Yet he was friends with the outcasts instead, always a reliable guy. On the other hand, he killed a kid once, as a kid himself at the time. Wait, so if he killed a kid as a kid? I think I need more context. Or did he do it in self-defense? Later, just before you left for the surface, he had been assigned to a firing squad or some other eliminators. You don't know how it turned out in the end, but it didn't bode well. But maybe he was suited for it. And he never missed an opportunity to tease you. Would he be willing to help after all these years? You said he was a reliable guy, I don't see why not. And it's not like this kid has done anything against him, I think. Do you want to go get Ignatius? I think I do. He may be useful. Worst case scenario, we trip him and use him as bait. You move towards where, as you remember, the residential units used to be. Maybe they are still inhabited. You don't even know if it's better to keep the kid in front of you or behind. Something could grab her from any side. Yeah, having an armed companion would be useful. Okay, or optional, we wear the kid as a backpack. I'm just saying, if she's monkey clinging to our back, at least we know where she constantly is. May end up getting a bit heavy though. How old is this kid? Your hair stands on end. Speaking of the devil, I've been watching you two since you walked in. Why did you come back here? Did you really need to sneak up on me like that? It's strange enough in here without it. I see we've softened on the surface. Well, we did say we didn't have an easy time on the surface. There are other things up there, but equally nasty. Never mind. Who's this child? You see, I'm supposed to walk her from one place to another. So, you're a babysitter? An escort? I used to babysit you myself, so don't get all riled up. I'm surprised someone entrusted you with a child, though. Even your cockroaches would die. That's fair enough. I wouldn't trust me with a child either. Hey! Where? Where does she have to go? Does it mean I won't leave you two like this? Ah, I knew it. You're a good guy. I'm sorry I said I'd trip you. Oh! Wait, what just happened? Did you just shoot me or my kid? Faster than either you or Sigil can even react, Ignatius draws his gun and shoots something behind you. Oh, okay, there's a monster behind us, got ya. I'm sorry I doubted you. Yeah, I'm definitely going with you. Oh, you hit the eyeball. Gnarly. I kind of feel bad now. I 100% thought he just shot the kid. There's a creature lying shot on the ground behind you. One of those common monsters that roam the endless corridors of the bunkers and hunt the unwary. You're lucky you didn't come across it sooner. Would I have got eaten then if I hadn't come get Ignatius? I'm assuming I would have done. Are you sure you want to drag her through the underground? I'm not entirely sure what other options I have. Okay, so I don't know, but it wouldn't be much better for her on the surface. That's true. I mean, we don't entirely know the context for the escorting mission. Is she in danger? Caring about others now, I see. Well, we don't need to be snarky to the guy that just saved our life. The client seemed to be quite trustworthy, at least compared to some others. I feel like this one's probably the best. I mean, we don't seem to like it on the surface. I don't know, but it wouldn't be much better for her on the surface. You may be surprised, but I believe it. Never mind, at least for now. How do you plan to get there? I have directions and an old map. An old map. How useful. Show me. This does not seem like the most useful of maps. I'm struggling to read it. You show the map. Ignatius studied it with furrowed brows and let out a heavy sigh. You haven't been down here for a long time, and it's easy to see. You know the corridors constantly expand. What you have here is long outdated. Right, maybe the bunkers had once begun as a man-made construction, but over time they grew deep into the ground, spreading far and wide like mycelium. Wait, do the bunkers have sentience? Well, after all this twisted world affects not only living creatures. There are devices that predict and deduce new openings. They can be unreliable though. There are also people who set out to explore various passages, be it shelters, old railway tunnels, or recent caves. You know whom Ignatius is going to mention. We can drop by Morton's place. A long time ago, when your, for lack of a better term, home was still here, Ignatius was friends not only with you. In your group of 3, there was also a smaller kid, bullied by other children, even harder than you. You fought back, like Morton would just go into hiding. Others used to call him a freak, although they had no apparent reasons. More like they subconsciously felt something was odd about him. Or maybe they just didn't like it when the weakling could disappear for a week in the darkness and then come back as if nothing had happened. He went away permanently shortly before you left for the surface. Or was he cast out? You don't remember anymore. He had settled in one of the abandoned segments and turned to creating maps of the tunnels, observing and trading his work for food and other things. Sometimes, Ignatius would give him different goods without expecting to return the favors. He used to be your friend too, but how would it be now? Do you want to go get Morton? I feel like it's for the best. I mean, we clearly did not survive without Ignatius. We're not going to survive without Morton. Good idea. Let's go there. You venture through corridors. In many places, the light from your headlights blends with the glow of bioluminescent fungi. Some spaces are so tight, you must squeeze sideways. Others are wide, too wide, and very high. There are also crevices. If you remember correctly, Morton should live next to one of them. Yeah, that one former building of the abandoned research base is still there. What was here? Some kind of research base. One day some creatures escaped from there and, well, the complex ceased to exist. My pal lives here now. Apparently Morton wasn't bothered by moving to a place that needed to be heavily secured first, and where he would find human bones for a long time. But he did live here, and apparently he still does. Did he even try to return? I mean, why would you if you've got a whole nice setup here? And it sounds like he's getting by if he keeps trading his goods. The screech of the opening door snaps you out of your thoughts. Ah, yeah. No need to knock or ring the doorbell. He probably saw you on the thermal cameras first. Who do I see? And who's this? Morton looks at Sigil with a polite interest at first. Then, for a little moment, his face stiffens up. Then he's friendly again. You okay, Morton? What do you need? You explain briefly what's going on. He listens carefully, promises to help you, offers you tea and some rest. He looks like he would like to tell you something. Do you want to listen to Morton? Well, we've came all this way. Why not? Listen to him. The tea tastes awful, but it's only an excuse to talk with you in private. It's not a human. Wait, the kid? What? This kid. She's not human. I have lived here for some time and, let's say, I can just feel it. So you don't have any proof? A hard scientific one, no. And I don't say it necessarily bad. It just means she's not a human. It's just, you ought to know. You don't know how to respond. Not that you really can go back to this topic, since Sigil cuts in on the conversation constantly, until it's time to go. Or maybe you've finished your tea. Or maybe it's just comfortable to have a single current matter at your hands. Never mind, it's time to go. I don't think this really changes anything, right? I mean, whether human or monster, we've still got to escort her to the other side of the bunkers. You cross a makeshift bridge above the chasm. How deep is it, and how did it appear? It was already here when Morton moved into that building. Sometimes you come across suspicious black shafts in the ground, in the walls, in the ceiling, but nothing comes out of them to bother you. For a little moment you wonder how deep the bunkers go, and what's in the lowest levels. You still remember stories about people who tried to go down there. None of them ever had a happy ending, about adventurers returning. You suspect you're not even at 1/10 of the depth, maybe 100th. You don't know. Will it be impossible to know if it's ever expanding? Fortunately, you don't have to go deeper. You go through one of the older passages. You don't see anything suspicious, but you don't drop your guard. The underground often only seems to be abandoned. You find yourself in an abandoned research base. There's a series of identical doors, and your destination is at the end. It's only now that Sigil looks hesitant. The intercom looks dead. Your briefing told you to use a code and say the kid's name as a password. The same kid who now stares at the door with strange anticipation. Wait. So is she being escorted to be used as a test subject if she's not human then? And if this is still an active research base? Is it her home? The door opens. Welcome! The man looks almost like a mummy. Did he work here in the past? Ah, there is my lost little one. Sigil approaches him, frightened. Sss. You shiver, hearing this sharp hiss. It's Sigil, and not Sigil at the same time. Black irises cover almost her entire eyes. Mouth is wide open. What is going on? Oh, is she gonna kill the doctor? The girl jumps at the man from the laboratory and bites his throat out. Well, it was a little bit creepy. I don't blame you, kid. His body falls to the floor with a dull thud, arms and legs still twitching. Well, I'm not getting involved in this. This is above my pay grade. I am simply the babysitter. Am I gonna get killed now? Because I witnessed it. Morton stares with pursed lips and squinted eyes. Ignatius is ready to shoot. What do you do? It just happens. Not all children here are just children.
It's not a human, but it's still just a kid.
What do you do? You know what? I feel like she's got a justifiable reason. The doctor's a little bit creepy. Ask her what it's all about. Why?
He's hurt me once. Now you can do whatever you want.
I kinda understand her. I would do this too.
It's just a kid. A hurt kid.
What do? You know what, kid? You're adorable. I like you. Don't shoot her. You won't hurt her. You managed to finish the task, but in the end, it played out differently than you thought. The man who was supposed to pay you is dead. Oh, I didn't think this through. Yeah, I didn't realize we didn't get paid up front. Do you think we can just go and loot his bunker? Maybe he's got some money lying around. You could still rummage through his place, though maybe there's something valuable to find. One issue still remains. What's next? The laboratory of that strange man turned out to be a hoard of all kinds of objects, big and small, valuable and useless, harmful and harmless. You're able to find something akin to a reward. Maybe it will be useful. Maybe it can be exchanged for something else. Sigil was nowhere to go. You decide she can stay with you for the time being, although you're not sure if it's the best idea. Maybe one day you can find her a better place. Or maybe she will be an adult by that time. You don't know. Ignatius doesn't even suggest you could return to people, to the place where he lives and works. He knows you wouldn't want to. But he points out there are a lot of other places underground, and he's going to help if necessary. Morton gives you an offer to move to one of the buildings of an abandoned research base. You don't know if you'll take this opportunity. You really can live without monsters by your door, but you'll see. You still have some possibilities. Maybe you could stay underground, but on your own terms. Maybe you'll stay here for a moment and see what to do next. Or maybe you will leave the underground and try with the outside world once again. It depends on you. Sorry, kid, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to shoot you this time. The force of your bullet turns the girl round. The blood pooling around her merges with that of the scientist. No payment. No child you had to bring here either. You managed to finish the task, but in the end, it played out differently than you thought. The man who was supposed to pay you is dead. You could still rummage through his place, though. Maybe there's something valuable to find. One issue still remains. What's next? You're not sure if shooting Sigil was a good idea. The city has made you used to many dirty and unethical deeds. But, despite everything, she was just a child. You've changed, whether for better or for worse. You don't know. Ignatius accompanies you to the corridors near the surface. Then he just nods and leaves without saying anything. Morton isn't easy. After Sigil's death, he leads you back to familiar corridors anyway. Then he leaves without a word. There is no body with you anymore. You still have some possibilities. Maybe you can stay underground, but on your own terms. Maybe you'll stay here for a moment and see what to do next. Or maybe you will leave the underground and try with the outside world once again. It depends on you. So if we try and manage without Ignatius, are we just gonna get eaten? You don't want to go back to the past, especially not to that gloomy segment in which you used to live during your childhood. Who said only the monsters are to be feared in the bunker maze? You will pull through together on your own. You venture deep into the corridors, past branching paths, sometimes needing to move down a level or two. You have clues to the right place and your own slightly forgotten old experience. You hear the scratch. You're not alone. Ah, hey, there you are. I still have my gun, right? What do? Shoot it! You shoot. Not quickly enough. The creature could get hit if it still stood in place. Instead, it jumps on one wall, on another, then straight at you. Kid, do something! Your back hits the floor, and you hear Sigil scream. Your ripped apart throat doesn't let you scream. You can only make a wet, hoarse sound as your life seeps away and everything fades to black. You died. Okay, so we can't shoot it, but can we outrun it? You break into a run, picking Sigil up. You know she wouldn't be able to keep up with you. You turn into a side corridor. With certain monsters, you can only try to make them lose your track. Another side corridor. Oh, I see where this is going. We're gonna get lost in the tunnel of mazes, aren't we? You still hear the claws scratching behind you. And another one. And another. Finally, a door. You let Sigil go and shut the door as fast as you can. Thud. And clawing at the door. But you're safe. Most creatures from the underground are dumb and can't open doors.
Are you okay?
You take a deep breath. It's weird the kid worries about you. I'll be alright. You leave your temporary shelter. Fortunately, you don't hear the sounds of your pursuer anymore. You think about the map you have. There are other exits leading from here. You have them marked, but these aren't ordinary corridors. You remember they are expanding constantly. Your map may be long outdated. Maybe the bunkers had once begun as a man-made construction, but over time, they grew deep into the ground, spreading far and wide like mycelium. Well, after all, this twisted world affects not only living creatures. Oh, so we still get the option of going for Morton, even if we don't have Ignatius. Well, you know what? We'll manage without Morton. We're gonna get ourselves lost in these mazes. You really don't want to revive your old friendships. You're sure you can make it with the map on your display. The passages can and do change, but you suspect it's mostly new growth, rather than the older ones getting messed up. You keep moving forward. The corridor before you forks. Unlike on your plan, according to your programmed route, you should go straight on, but it stinks suspiciously from there. The passage on your left goes down with cold air wafting up from below, while the right one is so tight you'd have to squeeze sideways. Which direction do you choose? You know what? We should stick to the program. Go straight into the smell. You regret this choice almost immediately. The stench makes you cover your nose with your collar. Sigil does the same. The ground is sticky under your feet, and soon you step on something that cracks with a crunch, a partially dissolved bone. Ah, I see we found the graveyard then. You stop. not sure if it's better to go further on or turn back. Suddenly, Sigil's scream alerts you. She's pressed to the wall, but why? You see it when she tries to pry herself away from it. Thin tendrils growing out of the wall hold her close to the concrete. Is she being consumed by the walls? Before you can help Sigil, you feel yourself being pulled away and your back hits the wall. You reach out to her, but the tendrils are fast and catch your arms too. You feel a burning sensation before you die. You watch as the opposite wall dissolves, Sigil alive. You died. Oh damn, we just got eaten by concrete. That's a new experience for me. Okay, so strength is a point blank bad idea. So why don't we just go downwards? You go down. You can feel the temperature drop a few degrees, if not more. After a few dozen steps, you realize Sigil is not with you. The light flickers. You call her and turn back to the entrance. She was right behind you. Before you reach the end, the light flickers once again and dies. This time, permanently. You move forward, but you only feel a wall. You can't go any further, as if the passage never existed at all. You can't hear anything. You want to say something to be sure you can still hear, but you can't make any sound. No matter where you reach, only cold walls surround you. You don't know how much time passes. You die of starvation and dehydration. No one ever finds your body. You died. I wonder what happened to Sigil though. Did she also get trapped in a different section? Clearly, the tight squeeze is the way to go then, right? Of course it's right. Right is always the right answer. You squeeze through the passage. You curse, having to hold your breath sometimes. I don't know if I'd do that. I mean, I'd be paranoid that I'd get stuck. And I'd think I'd rather die by monster than, just being trapped between two walls. It's not the way you plan shows you, but passages often merge in various places, and something tells you that even if it's not the best way, it's also the lesser of the three evils. Yeah, we've already proven that, haven't we? The tunnel gets higher, unfortunately not much wider, so you still move sideways. You listen to unidentified sounds from above, where the light from your flashlight doesn't reach. For a brief moment, you think you can see a pair of eyes somewhere above, but it could be a trick of the light as well. Strange noises don't stop though. To your surprise, Sigil doesn't seem too scared. Have you been here before?
Yeah, I actually am from here.
You're not even surprised. There live different communities here underground, along with temporary and permanent lone wolves. Are you happy you're here again? The kid shrugs.
And you? You're from here as well?
I mean, I've definitely been here before. Wait, no, but at least I know where to go. You know what? In a way, yes. It's my place. You can breathe freely when the tunnel becomes wider and uneven, like walls in a cave. You glance suspiciously from side to side. It is a cave. The bunkers have merged with a natural passage. You don't walk for long between these rocky walls. The passage widens even more. But it gradually becomes lower, and at the end you can see a flat wall with an empty doorway without any door frame or hinges. At least you can say goodbye to that tight cave and weird rustles. Sometimes you come across suspicious black shafts in the ground, in the walls, in the ceilings, but nothing comes out of them to bother you. So good news, we can actually make it to the end without our two friends. I wonder what would happen if we actually shoot Sigil this time, because our friends won't be here to judge us. Sorry kid, I do like you. The force of your bullet turns the girl round. So it's the same ending, it's just we're not judged for it this time. Well, I hope you enjoyed that playthrough of Bunkers. I'm kind of surprised we couldn't actually find an ending where we were just getting lost in the tunnels forever. I mean, it seems like like the ideal situation, right? If it's ever expanding. If you enjoyed your time here, I'd really appreciate if you could like this video and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, you have a spooky day and I'll catch you next time, guys.